Hello my friends, my name is Odo Sendai-Dokai, and in this video I will explain the spectral device Freq-Split, a tool from the 4-part Bitwig Studio Spectral suite. As the name suggests, Freq-Split is a tool that spectrally splits the entire frequency range. I have already produced a tutorial on what spectral actually is and how it differs from conventional frequency band splitting, which I will link to in the video description. And at the end of the video, I have a few sound examples for you as inspiration. Let's get started. In short, the device can divide the entire frequency range into many frequency groups and then process them with additional audio effects in the 4 containers: red, turquoise, yellow and violet, provided for this purpose. Since this is a spectral device, the division of the splits, in other words the bands, which are also called bins or windows in the spectral world, is carried out using fast Fourier transformation, or short FFT. These frequency groups can be divided from one division, which then contains the entire frequency spectrum and thus not actually represent a division, up to 1024 very finely alternating pairs of 4 across the entire frequency spectrum. Why groups of 4? Simply because we have 4 containers. The division of 1 to 4 splits can therefore be sharply separated in the 4 containers with the help of the FFT. Sharp because the separation of the frequency bands using FFT is like an extremely steep EQ curve. You can see what this means by setting the display to post and turning down a container volume. This means that a division of exactly 4 splits is then the division of the entire frequency spectrum from 20 Hz to 20 kHz into 4 sections. This division is then somewhere between 0 to 200 Hz for the red container, 200 Hz to 800 Hz for the turquoise container, 800 Hz to 4.5 kHz for the yellow container, and 4.5 kHz to 20 kHz for the purple container. More than 4 splits, such as the standard setting of 16 splits, result in the entire frequency range being divided into 4 × 4 large areas. This means that with 16 splits, for example, the range from 800 Hz to 4.5 kHz would then be distributed proportionally among the 4 containers. So in this range, the red, turquoise, yellow and purple containers would be represented in that order. And this pattern then continues throughout the entire frequency spectrum. If you look at this directly in the device itself and change the splits, it is very easy to see and understand. That's a quick introduction to what the Freq-Split device does, but the device can do a lot more. Let's start with the display and the various functions it offers. If I right-click on the display in a free area, I can switch between the display before processing and after processing. In the latter case, I can see directly what happened to the sound in the corresponding frequency band. I can also switch the display in the upper left corner of the inspector. As mentioned before, this device can be used to divide the entire frequency spectrum from 1 to 1024 splits. This is set in the upper left corner using the split parameter. The position from which new splits are added can be set using the somewhat counterintuitive arrow symbols to the right of the split parameter in the middle of the display. The left arrow pointing to the left ensures that the new splits are inserted from right to the left. The middle double arrow creates the new splits from the middle to the right and left. The right arrow pointing to the right ensures that the new splits are inserted from left to right. Confused? If so, just ignore the position of the arrows completely and think of the arrows on the respective side as pointing to the direction. so to the left or to the right, then it works reasonably well. The ramp icon to the right with the percentage allows crossfades between splits, making the transitions from one container to another smoother or stay sharp. There are two settings in the lower left area, nudge and spin. Both shift the split in the frequency range by different amounts. Nudge does this with decibel numbers from -4 to +4, shifting the splits the furthest. For example, the setting +1 shifts the split from one container to the next container. The contents of container 1 move to container 2, the contents of container 2 go to container 3, the contents of container 3 go to container 4, and the contents of container 4 go to container 1. So there is a rotation of +1. With a setting of +2, the contents of container 1 ends up in container 3. Please note that this is currently described incorrectly in the manual. With spin settings from -50% to +50%, you only get halfway there. The +25 setting rotates the contents one container further, and +50% rotates them 2 containers further. Why two settings that do roughly the same thing have been integrated here is not clearly explained in the Bitwig Studio documentation or the corresponding presentation videos. If you have any more relevant information about a different function, please write it in the comments. The two lines to the right of the spin settings are also interesting. Split band and split pinch, which can each have values from -100% to +100%. This can also be controlled using the white dot in the middle of the display, the XY controller. With split band and split pinch, the bands can be stretched and squeezed in different ways. With split band up to +100% to the right, the bands on the left side are stretched and squeezed together in the right side. And with split band -100% to the left, the bands on the right side are stretched and squeezed together on the left side. With split pinch in the range 0 to 100%, meaning pulled upwards, the sides are stretched towards the middle, and the middle itself is squeezed together from both sides. And in the range 0 to -100%, meaning pulled downwards, the middle is stretched to both sides and the sides are squeezed together at the edges. These options alone offer tremendous flexibility for shaping and moving the sound. The middle section of the Freq-Split device contains and controls the 4 containers. Each container has an S for solo switch, a volume control, a panning control, the container itself for loading and using audio effects and plugins, and a combined peak RMS meter. The rear section of the Freq-Split device also contains a pre-FX container, which can be used to process and prepare the sound before it is processed by the Freq-Split device itself. A post-FX container, in which the output of the Freq-Split device as a whole can be processed again with audio effects such as reverbs, delays, distortion, and so on. A spectral limiter. This processes each band separately. It can be switched on and off, and the corresponding threshold can be set using the decibel setting directly below it. Would that be a multiband limiter even if I can't set the threshold separately for each band? And finally, there's the mixer for the dry-wet setting. This determines the mix in which the original signal and the processed effect signal are output. Conclusion. The Freq-Split device is an incredible versatile device that is unmatched in other DAWs. The limiter alone is terrific and unfortunately very often overlooked. But with this device, targeted and surgical real-time spectral processing is very sophisticated and, thanks to the simple interface, also very intuitive to use. It's well worth playing around with it and keeping this device in mind for a wide variety of tasks. Whether it's for a very noticeable spectral sound or for very subtle sound processing. I would be interested to know if you use the Freq-Split often and above all for what tasks, or if it's totally irrelevant to you. Now here are a few more sound ideas. I'll say goodbye for now and thank you for your time and attention, and I hope to see you soon again in the next video. Stay healthy, save the future, take care, see you later. Ciao ciao.